After we beat this world, the difficulty level tends to uptick a bit. And I got hit right there, and I died. Go figure. Hey everybody, Captain Paladin LP. Welcome to another episode of Donkey Kong Country. In the last episode, well, we went through a little bit of monkey mines. Not too much, but we went through a little monkey mines. And now we're resuming the game here, and this is post-commentary. Because I did 2 other commentaries, and I sounded really, basically, drunk. Because it was done at 4 a.m. When I'm doing LPs at 4 a.m., you know, I sound like I'm drunk and high or whatever. I try not to sound like I'm drunk or high, but whatever the case is, you know what I mean, really. But this stage is Millstone Mayhem. We're going to finish up Monkey Mines and start Vine Valley. After we beat this world, the difficulty level tends to uptick a bit. And I got hit right there, and I died. Go figure. Donkey said, "What hit me, mate?" At least I'm sounding better than I did in my post-commentary. I'd say I did 2 other post-commentary episodes, and it sounded like I was drunk or really depressed. And so lately, it's kind of like it's all I've been lately. But we're in this stage. Homeboy is back later on. We'll get him back, but probably the last time we'll see him for quite a while, because we have to go through this kind of stage here. And there's another bonus here, and it spells rare. And these kind of bonuses right here, I don't know if we did one already, but you touch the blinking letter. If you touch any other letter, you're pretty much done. If you touch a crocodile, it will do one of 2 things. It will reverse direction, or it will speed up. So you kind of want to be careful when you touch those crocodiles on there. You know, it'll mess you up, mess your rhythm up when it comes to, you know, doing, you know, that kind of bonus. But as you can see here, this is another guard bonus. If you go up, left, right through the walls, you get to see, you know, extra spaces where compartments here where you can actually get some more tokens here. But usually in this bonus I get around like 6 lives anyway, so it's kind of like, I usually shoot for that goal and just leave it as is. Not only I think how it's going this, I kind of did post commentary like the early morning of the 25th, and I was sounding like really bummed. And I was like, oh man. Well, not only that, but I did stay up till like 6 in the morning, but the prior day was sort of like, I did like the lawn, had to work, and all of that stuff, so it's sort of like, But 6 lives, not too shabby. 46 lives. So we are now going to go. Watch out for Naughty. That's apparently the name for those guys. And there's a secret down here. But fortunately for us, Dad is actually home from the hospital, so he's basically what he had was an infection in his leg. So it's sort of like, you know, well, I guess, you know, he's home now, but he's taking antibiotics so he can get rid of the infection. They're thinking about sending someone from the hospital to give him IVs on occasion if he needs it. But he's actually home again, so I guess that's good news. I guess there's one issue I do want to talk about, and this is kind of one that's been on my mind, and I think I kind of bored everyone to death when I spoke my mind, and when I speak my mind, I tend to be really, really hurtful in my truth, more or less. But this is kind of the subject I want to talk about in this episode. Being a part of a team. To be quite honest, I was never good being in teams with people. I mean, if I were in teams, I always seem to, I don't know, be the black sheep, more or less. I am one person who tends to stand out even in working in team environments. And trust me, it's good and it's also bad. And because some instances I tend to be, you know, somewhat annoying, or I can be somewhat very controlling, and that's the last thing I want to be perceived as when it comes to teamwork, because, you know, one thing I don't like is being yelled at. I swear, if there's one thing I hate about being in teams, is that being the one that's doing the dirty work while, you know, everyone else is talking and all that. And, you know, that's happened more than one occasion where, you know, I worked in a class project back in high school, and then you know, basically I would be doing a lot of the work, but at the same time, you know, my companions will be just doing nothing but blah 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 blah, if you know what I'm saying. You know, it happened one time where we were doing a project, and my teacher Ken Anderson actually, you know, noticed this too. You know, we were like doing a three-person project together, and, you know, we did pretty well in it, except I was pretty much doing most of the, you know, hard work in there, while my quote-unquote classmates did the, you know, nothing but blah 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 blah, you know. Well, it turned out we got a 91 for the project, 91, if PGP would say it. But the two girls that were, you know, kind of blah 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 talking too much pretty much throughout the whole thing, they got an 81 because the teacher docked 10 more points for them not doing their part, or, you know, sort of like that. I guess it's just for me, you know, it's just I have my own ways of actually doing things, and I try not to sound like I'm overly zealous in what my beliefs are. It's just I tend to be a little bit of a renegade, more or less. I mean, that's how I got the name Paladin from Have Gun Will Travel, because he was a mercenary for hire, more or less. He sometimes bent the law, sometimes he followed the law to the letter. I mean, it was his profession, but he always had to, you know, do what was right for him, and he always did things in his best interest. And if there was one TV Western that, you know, fit me, it was Have Gun Will Travel, and it was Paladin from there. But, you know, I guess I'm just, I don't know. I guess some of the people I've met here on YouTube, it's more or less I have a trouble sort of, I don't know. Not to be over hypocritical, more or less, because I do have a tendency of being hypocritical. Sometimes I do, which is the truth, and some people have called me out on it, some with good reasons to be, and some not so many good reasons, because I've really, I've really have gotten upset with people and the way they, treat other people. And it's just, sometimes I play defense and walk the line a lot of times, and it's just to the point where I just need to actually, do things my way. And I try not to be a little, I guess, headstrong about it, because sometimes, I do have my ways of being... I don't know. Sometimes I do feel like I've crossed the line and not worry about... And sometimes it has hurt other people. But there were instances where people who never got me and given me a break, And as far as working in, groups and being... And this, I guess this kind of relates to what happened between me and Noah, more or less. I particularly... I don't know if it was just... I think every time I was around him, he was just a bit... I don't know. I really felt, more or less... I don't know. I don't know, what's the word? I think he irritated me more. I think he just irritated me. And then with what was going on in Mario Kart Wii with him and his clans, first of all, I don't play in clans because I think clans do not necessarily... Or playing... Here's what really happened, and I'll be rather frank. I don't play... I guess, super obnoxiously, like some people do in Mario Kart Wii. And this clan, him and Chameleon Games and Mara is sometimes part of. I really don't necessarily approve of them. Because if they're all they're going to do is just wreck other people's chances to, or all they're going to do is wreck people instead of actually trying to win a race. That kind of, I guess you could say, if you ever watched the Mighty Ducks, there's Robert Fulton. There's this, there's these types that are kind of like enforcers. I never take the word enforcer as literally as I am with other people. But unfortunately, Noah, quote unquote proliliant, sort of, pushed me too far. Because I thought he was just wrecking me, pretty much, literally. I mean, wrecking me in Mario Kart 8, and I got so freaking tired of it. And him and Chameleon, I don't know what Chameleon's problem with it. I just left him because he wanted nothing to do with me, and then fine, he can just leave me alone. But I just read this quote-unquote enforcement mentality was just, I never agreed with it. But what can I do, To me, I don't play like that. I just play for fun, but apparently people this Mario Kart Wii, I think the thing, they really just, all they do is actually wreck people. I mean, if you're just gonna wreck people like that, then what's the point of playing? In that book. It says, unfortunately, he and I don't share that kind of philosophy in how we play the game. I mean, to me, it's just, I think it's just perverting the game. But unfortunately, this kind of clansmanship, which the other side of the coin says, it does help others be better. And you know, I don't mean to take, for those of you who play in like Call of Duty, you know, teams and so teams, you know, you're only trying to, you know, improve your game and, you know, say you want to play, you're here to play and all that stuff. That is understandable, but I never seemed to fit well that kind of personality. This kind of clan mentality. I never understood it. But, you know, I don't think I will ever understand it because I've always been like I just died there on purpose. Jeez. And there's still a secret that I missed somewhere. Oh, you know, that was well done. Jeez, way to go, Paladin. And it's just, on top of everything that's been going on in my life, you know, I understand there's a competitiveness inside this country, and that is fine. I mean, it's good to have a competition, but my philosophy, there is somewhat of a different kind of how I view teams and such. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being, you know, a noob or whatever you want to call it. I don't care. But for me, you know, me and competitive games and me, well, yes, that's what you call versus. When I mean versus, I mean clans. I think defeat the purpose of it. When I mean a versus, I think having teams is fine, but really, how is anyone going to learn, you know, if they just keep, you know, purposely wrecking you? I mean, how do you learn, I guess, by beating other people up like that? I guess it's how they do it in the military, you know. I mean, I know someone, you know, from the military that, you know, fighting each other is way of life. That's what they do in, you know, the Marine Corps. Is they put you in, you know, in your unit. They do make you fight each other. I don't know if it's just, you know, how it is, but, you know, if you're in that kind of line of work, you know, and I know this from a reliable source, trust me. I used to know a few Marines in my life. I mean, seriously. They do make you fight each other with hands and bare hands sometimes. And I don't see any problem with it. It's just, with me, I never understood why. And I'm sorry if it makes me look weak as an individual, but, you know, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to believe? So, you know, I guess maybe it's just somehow I got part of it was Mara's rage, because sometimes listening to her rage does sometimes, you know, drive me crazy. I mean, I literally have to take a mental break from that, because really I don't. It's not like I don't like it, and I find it hilarious sometimes, but. And she's a very competitive person too, but there are just sometimes I need a break. I don't like necessarily fighting other people. I mean, just because it's part of what competitive sports is all about. But Noah, I think, with Noah's case, you know, he just strikes me as an individual that just says, you know, some sort of a militant person, and it just drives me crazy. That's why we don't talk to each other, pretty much. And there's a secret down here, so you want to kind of navigate in between these vultures here, right there. I don't know, maybe it's just me, you know. Because one time, if I get overly competitive, I tell you the truth, I'm going to start, I mean, with me when it comes to competitiveness, it can be friendly for a while, but when my instincts take over, you're going to kind of wish that you never had known me. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's that bad with me whenever it comes to competitiveness. Because at some point, you know, and it's the same way with relationships. If at any point, when it comes to any point that you can't let me have a break, I'm going to fight you, too. And that's, unfortunately, how I saw it with him. And with me and Mara, I take breaks from her sometimes, too, because, you know, I like her competitiveness, and, you know, sometimes it does, you know, solidify our relationships, but I tell you, I can only take in so much. So here's a very hard stage right here, going back to the game here. I'll show you the complete first playthrough, because I had several tries with this one. This one really gave me a lot of difficulty, you know, doing this. I'm going to go through the first successful playthrough of this, but I ended up not getting all the secrets, so it's kind of like, because right there is the secret where I needed, and I somehow didn't get it. And I don't know if it's even right to feel this way. I mean, it's just how I am. I need a break, and if you don't give me that break, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. I mean, when I feel like, you know, I mean, I'm a competitive player as well, but I tell you, you know, when I call a break, I need a break. And it was not just because of, you know, I'm a wimp, but it is because I just don't want to turn against any of you. I want to keep our friendship by, you know, at least by calling a truce, temporary truce, until I get my emotions back in check. And if you don't give me that, if you can't grant me that, then just forget it. If you can't grant me that I can make mistakes, then you're not going to get a break either. I mean, I'm just going to I'm just going to say that, and that's the same way with Kathleen. I mean, if you can't give me a break, and if you can't forgive me for that, it takes me a while, for me to get used to anything that's a competition. It does take me a while sometimes. So we're kind of near the end here. So we did miss one secret. So what I'm going to do, block the path. There's about 7 minutes worth of fails. I'm only going to show you this one. I'm only going to take you to the successful run. So I will cut ahead, and I'll meet you guys back at the end. We'll wrap the episode up. So I'll see you guys in a bit. I think it was that point when I finally figured it out. I was starting to wonder if that was actually it, and I just didn't remember. But yeah, the secret, like I said before, is right over here. And of course, you jump on these vultures here, and you can just jump, and get some extra lives. Because I think after every, say, 8. Start to collect some lives, so but there is Espresso, but we really don't need him for this to complete this. So that will do it for this area. I think there was a total of 4 secrets there, if I'm not mistaken. But next stage, Orangutan Gang. That is one of the stages that has a total of 5. So the next episode of Donkey Kong Country will probably spend a good part of the episode going through that. So